Welcome back to the garage. It's another scorcher out here in Arkansas, but it's time to get back on that Dana 41 rear axle, get it cleaned up and degreased, maybe even primed, and ready to put back together. We're going full strength on the degreaser. I don't even know what this thing is. I really think it's like a dust shield or something off like a Dana 18 yoke or something. I wonder if that was supposed to be the oil slinger, because this washer here, this doesn't look like the oil slinger. I don't know, but we'll clean it up, see what we got. I don't think this yoke here is coming back, but we'll degrease it and see what we got. If it'll fit, we'll clean it. Just barely. Alright, ultrasonic cleaner, do your thing. There we go. A bit crusty, but it should clean up. A bit crusty, but it won't clean up. On one hand, I keep saying right tool for the job. But on the other hand, this H-frame is just too small for something like this. So I just gotta make it work. Come on. And there it is. I'm not going to be this janky again. Well, everything's out of its degreaser bath. This spacer ring might clean up, but man, it's pretty gnarly. I'm going to have to evaporust that and then probably sand the inside. This stack of washers is just, it's puzzling to me, but I have a theory. I think this was the original oil slinger. Why it's been bent up like this, it's beyond me. But then there were these extra 2 washers in here that didn't really make a lot of sense. And my best guess, based on what I'm seeing here, is that maybe someone who was in here before had these 2 extra little things in here as a spacer, so that this slinger could sit on top of it, such that maybe the yoke would stick out a little bit further, because there's a really deep channel further down, and then they've brazed on it to make a nice smooth surface to ride on. So I'll bet maybe they wanted to make the yoke stick out just a little bit more so that it would sit on that kind of outside area of braze. That probably wore away after use, so that's the only theory I got. Not a lot makes sense on here. This pinion is obliterated. I knew this, but it's different seeing it degreased and wire wheeled just slightly. But we can see the Salisbury markings, the 17505, 438, KP. I don't know what the KP stands for. And on the other side, we can see the date of manufacture, 12/17 of 48. So that helps me a little bit to guesstimate what the vintage of this axle was, because no one has any idea. The guy who gave them to me has no idea. So if this thing was made in late 48, it either came out of a real late 48 or a 49 2A, or maybe a 3A. That's all I got. But it's also kind of interesting to note the differences between my old pinion and my replacement. The replacement isn't actually drilled for cotter pins. I don't know that I like that. I may have to figure something else out on that one. But the shapes of them are just different. And I don't know, I think this, you would think that there'd be a marking on here saying it's a crown or something, but I'm not seeing it. But that's what I theorize this is, maybe a crown from a while ago. But the shapes are just different. This one has a little shoulder on it. This one does not. So I'm gonna have to somehow get this destroyed bearing off and really mic out the thicknesses on these and do a bunch of guesswork to figure out just how these are gonna line up. But that's a problem for future Bradley. Oh boy. We're getting better in here, but I'm having flashbacks that first day when I got in here. That is, I thought I'd gotten it all, but nope. That's dirt and mud and oil. And all of that was right there. It's no wonder that pinion wouldn't move. Yeah. Well, I just realized I'm out of a favorite PB blaster, but we're still gonna see if this will come out. That looks like a no. Oh. Fantastic. Well, there's still some threads left, so maybe there's hope for this. Still looks terrible, looking straight down it. That's actually somewhat improved. Well, I guess the next step is to finish degreasing that sucker. So I guess I'll head to the car wash. And I think the axle shafts can come along too. Maybe somehow they'll come clean from pressure washing. All right, let's go for a field trip. So as it turns out, I might have had the GoPro on picture mode. Whoops. Pressed the button, got a nice picture of my palm, and didn't get any video of the cleanup. But they're back there. They're cleaner. So let's move on. Whew. It is about 101 out here right now without the humidity, but I need to knock some rust off this thing so I can prime it, so let's get that done. So hot that I'm just dripping sweat onto it, and that's not helping things. That's Arkansas weather for you. Well, apparently the GoPro overheated. Let's be honest, I'm a little bit overheated as well. But that's starting to actually look like something. knocked all the dirt off, knocked all the scale off. It's down to metal. And because it's so hot, that primer is going on pretty quick and pretty smooth. It's gonna need a second coat. I'm gonna have to flip this thing back level to get the back sides of those, but moving along. So we're actually weeks later. Had a bit of a family emergency situation going on. Plus it's just been too hot. There was a heat index of 130 in the state. Yikes. But I still needed to get the bore of that cleaned up. I actually adapted Scott Schiller's method of putting one of these scouring pads on a length of steel rod or coat hanger, in his case, attached to a drill. And that has, I think, finally done it. The forbidden Nutella is out, and it's actually coming clean. So we're gonna pressure wash it out for the 15th time and see how that turns out. Well, that just happened. Oops. Well, that is a great deal improved. Heck yeah. So it's been a minute since I've been in here to work and just do the ongoing family situation for the past month, and just it's been too hot. But this place has really fallen into disarray and disorganization. I mean, wow, this is bad even for me. But I did want to close out with this guy. I was able to find one of the very hard to find Miller W99 pinion setting tools. This is gonna help me get it right and be confident that it's right. It might take me 2 or 3 tries, but we'll get it. This one is mostly complete. Usually they're not all here. This one's missing the dial indicator and the little clamp that you can clamp to check backlash and such. But I have a dial indicator somewhere over there. And this one actually has an extra piece. It's got the E block. This one's like ABCD, I believe. So I have the right tool for the job. And I usually try to use the right tool for the job. Sometimes I don't. But in this case, I need to. So I have it. I'm gonna learn how to use it, and I'm gonna get it right. Unfortunately, that's gonna be in the next video. I think that'll be it for this one. Thanks for watching. I know it's been a minute since I've been able to do an update on this project, but I think I'm finally able to get back to it. Maybe it'll start cooling down outside. I got some pumpkin spice coffee, so that should summon fall, right? Isn't that how it works? Pumpkin spice comes out and suddenly it's fall? We'll see. I'm gonna leave the axle outside in the 120 whatever degrees it is today temperatures, let it dry out for a bit, then it'll be ready for another degreasing on the outside and a layer of primer, and then maybe I'll paint it. I don't know if I'll show that part, it's just paint. But maybe in the next video we'll be ready to start putting some new parts in, especially doing the pinion setup and ring gear now that I have the tool. So, thanks again, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye for now.